What's going on, guys? It's Jacob from Topside MMA, and I'm bringing you my UFC Abu Dhabi quick picks. I just want to get you guys a quick little video before my full card breakdown coming later this week. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, we got Martin Buday versus Marcus Buchecha. Now, Martin Buday is not someone I'm high on. I think he's kind of a fat slob. He really just bullies people in the clinch. He basically hugs guys throughout entire fights. Super boring. I like to fade him when I can, and Marcus Buchecha is the guy where I think we can actually have some success with that. Marcus Buchecha, he's a world-renowned grappler, super talented on the ground. His striking is a little bit green, but he's been tested against decent level of competition. He had a loss, his sole loss in his 5-1 record is against the guy who beat the guy that beat RDR and is the only person to beat RDR, Reinier de Ridder, in the main event. So I have a lot of respect for that loss. I think that's a good loss to have for any loss. And, I think he should get the job done here at minus 300 or whatever he is at right now. Is kind of wide considering we've never seen him in the UFC so far. But I just don't think Buday is all that dangerous or he's all that good. So I'm hoping Buchecha can get the grappling going early on. I'm going to watch a little bit more tape on him to see if I can find anything more. But early on, I like to lean on him. I like to lean on Buchecha. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but I like to lean on him. So I'll have to pick him for this one. Next up, we got Mohammad Yahya versus Stephen Nguyen. Now, neither of these guys have really had any success in the UFC. They haven't been able to prove themselves all that well. So considering Steven is such a huge favorite, this line is not enticing at all, to say the least. Now, I think Steven should get this done just because Yahya really has not looked impressive at all. Whereas at least Steven, you can say his kickboxing and his striking is maybe a little bit better. He has a little bit more volume. But there's just too many red flags here. Like, Yahya is cutting down a weight class for the first time. He's cutting down to featherweight, and we haven't seen him here yet, so it's a little bit of like maybe he looks better at a lower weight class. Maybe he should have cut down to this weight class before. Who knows? I just don't have a lot of confidence here, especially with this being in Abu Dhabi. Yahya is from the UAE, whereas Steven is from the States, so if there's any BS robbery decision, it's probably going to go Yahya's way. So for that reason, I can't really have too much confidence in either guy. You have to leave Steven just barely, but low confidence pick for sure. Next up, we got Aslan versus Billy Elekana. Billy looked decent in his UFC debut against Bogdan Guskov, who's going to be later up on this card. And he took his back early on in that first round. He just gassed out and got finished. But after seeing Aslan get submitted by Ion Cutelaba, that doesn't give me a lot of faith for Aslan here. Aslan hits like a truck. He can get anyone out of here. But after seeing him get submitted like that, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. It's not very enticing for me. So it's hard to pick Billy, though, just because we haven't really seen him. I know he's had some couple fights, I think, in the PFL. So he's had experience in a higher level league that's a little bit better than just like a regional scene in the States. But at the same time, Aslan just has crazy knockout power. He's looked decent on the feet. The grappling has been but we just don't know if Billy can get him there. Like Billy got Guskov there, but he wasn't able to really do anything with it. And he went so hard in that first round that he gassed out. And he did say it was like a short notice replacement, and he stepped up short notice. So he did kind of say that, like, all right, I'm going to try and get this guy out of here early because that's my best shot. So, like, it did make sense. Like, he said it was going to happen. It did happen. He went for it early. He couldn't get it. He got finished. So it wasn't anything mind-blowing considering it was short notice. But I think he's a purple belt on the ground. So it's like, it's not like he's some demon on the ground enough to get Aslan out of there. I don't know if he can do it. I think it's a lot closer than these odds suggest. I think Aslan's like a minus 200, somewhere around there right now. I'm going to lean Aslan. I could pick flip. Not super confident in this. But given what we've seen from both, Aslan has more UFC experience. He's probably worked on this ground game since that submission loss. I'll pick Aslan, but I'll have to look a little bit more into this one. Next up, we got Amanda Ribas versus Tabatha Ricci. Now, a lot of people are saying this fight is closer than it looks. I do not think so. I'm all over Amanda Ribas in this one. I think she's better. She's longer. She's the better striker. Tabatha Ricci is not dangerous. She has no danger to present for Amanda here. I think Amanda Ribas is all around the better fighter. Ricci is good when she's like pressuring and she's really going for like tight clinches and she's trying to work girls against the cage. But in her last fight, she got worked on the feet boxing. So I don't know what the hell she's thinking with her new boyfriend. She's training boxing a lot more. I just don't know what we're going to see from Tabatha Ricci, whereas at least with Amanda Ribas, we know she is well-rounded. She's very talented. She only loses to the really good girls in the division. I like her in this a lot. I think the odds are pretty accurate, actually. I think they're pretty fair. I think Amanda probably should be a 2-1 favorite. And yeah, I think she has everything going for her in this fight. So yeah, give me Amanda, confident pick in that. So moving on, we got Davey Grant versus Damon Blackshear. I like Damon Blackshear in this. You know, he's the much more dangerous grappler. He has good striking too. We saw Damon Blackshear stepped up on short notice, and he went to a decision against Mario Bautista where it was extremely close and very competitive. I think that fight was either a split or it was a 29-28. In Blackshear, the only reason he really lost that fight is because he ran out of gas, but it was because he stepped up short notice to fill in there. So super great performance. I think he's well-rounded enough to hang anywhere this fight goes. Davey Grant is, 39 at this point? He's super old. He's not very active. And I think Damon Blackshear is just so talented. He can win this fight anywhere this fight goes. He can choose where he wants it to go. And for that reason, you got to pick Damon Blackshear. I'd say it's a pretty confident pick for me as well. Next up, we got Muslim Salikhov versus Carlos Leal. Now, I like Carlos Leal. He's a dog. He got robbed in his last decision against Reinier Fakhretdinov. So I think he should be, I think he's only 2-0, or he's 1-1 in the UFC right now, but he should be 2-0. And against Muslim Salikhov, you know, he's looked good. He's a striker, though. You know, he's getting older. He's like 40 or almost 40 now. If not older, he might be older than that. He might be 41. But anyway, Muslim Salikhov, you know, he's up there. You know, he's older. He's a striker. He's not going to present Carlos Leal with anything he hasn't seen. This is going to be a striking battle on the feet. Carlos Leal is younger. He's going to have the slight reach advantage. Or actually, no, it's bigger than I thought. We have 4-inch reach advantage. Yeah, he's younger. He's longer. He's going to have that reach advantage. He's more dangerous. He has more pop in his hands. He has every way to win this fight, considering this is going to be a striking match. So I like Carlos Leal in this a lot. He should be a confident pick. And yeah, that's all I got for this one. Next up, we got Bryce Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. This is one of the hardest ones to pick simply because we haven't seen Bryce Mitchell at this lower bantamweight class before. So this is one we're going to have to wait on a little bit. We're going to have to see how Bryce Mitchell comes in on the weigh-ins. We're going to have to see how he hits it because we don't know how he's handling this weight cut. Now, we know Saeed. We know exactly what we're going to see from him. He's kind of like a Kyler Phillips in the sense where he comes off, he's really good early on, but as the fights start to progress, he starts to get a little tired and he starts to fade and drop off a little bit. And he's had good takedown defense, you know, like he's shown that he can withstand takedowns. And he also has a really mean guillotine choke. So when guys start to shoot on him, there is that legitimate threat of the guillotine choke that could happen at any time. I just think Bryce Mitchell is probably too good of a grappler to fall into that trap. I think it's more of, if Bryce Mitchell can get the takedowns, he'll probably win. And if he can't, he'll probably lose. I think that's as close as this comes down to because Bryce Mitchell's striking is slept on. I just think Saeed will probably be a step ahead in terms of the speed and the power. So it's tough. You know, we're going to have to wait to see how Bryce Mitchell looks. If he looks good on the scales, I'll probably end up picking him. And if not, I'll probably go with Saeed. I think this is a lot closer than people think. I know a lot of people are kind of have mixed opinions. Some people are confident on Mitchell. Some people are confident on Saeed. It's tough to say. If I had gun to my head, I had to pick right now, I'll lean Mitchell just purely because of Saeed's gas issues. We saw Vinicius was able to really come in late and take over that fight. I think Bryce Mitchell could do something similar if Saeed starts to gas. And especially, we know if Bryce Mitchell is going for a wrestling-heavy game plan where he's really trying to grapple on the ground, that'll wear Saeed out a lot faster than a point fight striking match. So I'll lean Bryce Mitchell. We'll have to wait until weigh-ins. But yeah, there's a lot more to see for this before we have a confident lean. So next up, Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. This is a tough one too. You know, I really am tempted. I kind of want to pick Bogdan Guskov as the underdog here, just because I think he has enough power to knock out Krylov. We saw Krylov get flatlined, or not flatlined, but he got knocked out against Dominic Reyes, and I think something could happen similar. You know, I don't think Guskov is as technically sound as Dominic Reyes, but I think he has the same amount of power. I think he has enough pop in his hands to do that, you know. But with Krylov, it's like, you know, he has the good grappling. It's like, I think whoever can control where this fight goes probably wins because it's probably going to be an early finish, I'd imagine, under 1.5. If not, within the first 2 rounds. I think Krylov's either going to wrap up a submission probably in the second round, or I think Guskov is going to knock him out in the first or the second. It kind of just depends on if Krylov is able to get his grappling going and take this fight to the ground. It's tough to really say. You know, I'm going to sit on this one a little bit as the week goes on. My initial lean is I if gun to my head, I would pick Krylov by submission, but I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on this one. I'm kind of torn on this. I'm going back and forth. I'm going to have to think a little bit more about this one, but yeah, initial lead, I'll do Krylov by submission. So next up, we got Almabayev versus Jose Ochoa. This is almost the same matchup. Or not the exact same, but similar situation. I like Asu a lot. He's a good wrestler. On the other hand, I like Jose Ochoa a lot. He's a great striker. So it's kind of like whoever can really pick where this fight goes, whoever can have their way and impose their will on the other fighter is probably going to win this. You know, the thing that leads me towards Asu in this is just the short notice step up of Jose Ochoa, because Asu was preparing for Temirov, who's a really sneaky striker. He's quick on his feet. You know, he's quick. He has fast hands. And I think that's exactly the type of guy that Jose Ochoa is. So I think Asu was preparing and he's been training for a guy similar to Jose, where Jose's pulled up on short notice. Now, you could argue that, oh, well, Jose Ochoa, he just had a training camp against Cody Durden, who's a wrestler who's probably similar to Asu, which he is very similar to Asu. So I see that point of view as well. This is it's a tough one to call, because I think Cody Durden's chin is worse than Asu Almabayev's chin. We saw him get finished by Manel Kopp, but that was just because of all the damn eye pokes and illegal shots, and that fight pisses me off. You know, I like Asu, and I think that stoppage was kind of BS too. The whole thing about it was just shitty reffing, honestly. But anyway, in this fight, a 3-rounder, you know, it's tough. If I have to have a slight edge, I'd probably go with Asu, just because we haven't seen Jose really tested. We saw Cody Durden was able to land 2 takedowns before he got knocked out, and I just don't know. Like Asu might be able to do the same thing Cody Durden did. Win in that first round heavy. He went in, landed takedowns early, but then, you know, I just don't know if Jose's going to be able to really crack Asu. You know, I don't know. Second round starts, if he survives it through, and is he going to crack him and knock him out? And if he doesn't, what happens? You know, I think Ochoa, he has good cardio to last. I don't think he's going to gas out and burn out or anything. But at the same time, we just don't know how he might hang with the wrestler as it goes later on to the later rounds, because we haven't seen that yet. You know, he knocked out Durden in under 20 seconds of the second round. So this is a tough one. Same thing. I might end up flipping on this one. Early lean, I will go with Asu, but this is a close one. I like both of these guys a lot. So next up, we got Shara versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, I like Shara a lot in this one. This is like a layup for him. We see Marc-Andre Barriault, you know, his chin has been a major problem. And when he gets knocked out, like we've seen in his last couple losses, it is bad. Like, he is out cold, face front, knocked out. And against a guy like Shara, you know, he has the cheeky elbows and all that. We saw that he did against Armen Petrosian. I think the same thing's probably going to happen here, especially after his loss against Michael Venom Page. You know, he needs a bounce back, and what better place than Abu Dhabi, where he can really have the fans on his side. So it's hard to pick against Shara. I really just don't see the way in which Barriault can really win this, a technical striking match, because sure, the striking, you could argue, is close, but you can't argue that their chins are close. If there's any damage that's going to be landed, it's going to be Shara landing the damage on Barriault. So if this goes to a scorecard, I see no way in hell that Shara's going to lose a decision, you know, because if any damage is going, it's going to be him, you know. We saw in Shara's fight against MVP, that man was eating shots like they were nothing. He just doesn't take damage. The dude has a damn good chin. So for that reason, I just can't pick against Shara here. I think Shara's a confident pick. Odds are kind of insane at minus 600. But at the same time, when you break this down, it's like, yeah, I can't say I'm mind blown. So Shara's a confident pick for me this week. I like him to win here. And yeah. Next up, we got Petr Yan versus Marcus McGee. I think these odds should be closer than they are. You know, with Marcus McGee, he's looked so damn good. Yeah, his last fight, he had issues with the calf kick and his leg got torn up a little bit. But at the same time, I'm like, he is so damn fast. Marcus McGee is so big and strong and powerful, and he's so fast with the striking. You know, Petr Yan, he's gone against the who's who's of the UFC. Like, his list of fights he's had against the best of the best in every regard, it's absolutely insane. You know, he's fought the best strikers. He's fought the Sean O'Malley's. He's fought the Jose Aldos. He's fought the best wrestlers. He's fought Merab. He's fought some of the best grapplers like Aljamain Sterling. This dude is battle tested against every little like archetype of UFC fighter, So it's hard to pick against him here, but at the same time, and a lot of people are saying too. Petr Yan, he's only 32 years old. Yeah, but he's been through some wars, like he's only 32, but at the same time, his body has gone through a lot of wear and tear. Whereas with Marcus McGee at 35 years old, you think, oh, well, he's older, but he hasn't been through that many wars. His body is fresh. And he kind of reflects that when the way he gets in the cage, like the way he moves, he's very quick. He's very like slick with his movements. Like I would not guess he's 35 if you look at him, especially at this bantamweight weight class. Like, I don't know. Something about him just like is like, ooh, this guy could be a serious problem. Now, the step up in competition is kind of insane. Marcus McGee has looked great so far, except his last fight was a little rough, but he's looked very good so far. But the competition level has not been as high. Whereas Petr Yan, he's stepping down a considerable notch in this fight. So for that reason, you can't pick against Yan here logically. It's kind of like the Kevin Holland D-Rod thing last week. It's like everything logically says to pick Holland. It says to pick Yan here. I could see something going crazy like we just saw, but at the same time, logically, you got to pick Yan here. I'm not as confident as other people are, but it's not an unconfident pick. Yan should get the job done here. So I'll pick Yan on this one. Finally, last up, we got Robert Whittaker versus RDR, Reinier de Ridder. In my full card breakdown, I'm going to go further in depth on this one. I keep going back and forth. I've had a hard time with my reads on RDR. He just kind of surprises me in certain aspects. I thought Kevin Holland would be the better striker and he might be able to keep some distance. I know that was like the whole middleweight Kevin Holland. Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit biased. I like Kevin Holland. But it's like times like that, especially, and that was after the GM3 fight where the striking was so competitive. I was like, damn, if RDR has competitive striking with GM3 and competitive grappling, Kevin Holland should be able to hang. Obviously, he wasn't. RDR dominated him. And after that, I was like, Bo Nickal is a really good wrestler. He should be able to have some success. I was wrong about that one. So my takes on RDR are all over the place. It's like it's hard to get a good read on him. And Robert Whittaker is not like, he's not a guy where I feel super confident in either. Robert Whittaker, he's had some durability issues. Like his face has got messed up by Khamzat. He's got knocked out by guys like DDP. He's had his durability issues in the past. But I think he should be the more well-rounded guy here. RDR is super physically imposing. He's super strong. He's huge for the division, and he uses that well. But I like Whittaker's striking. I think Whittaker will have the striking advantage, and as long as he doesn't get cracked, I think he can do well. He has good takedown defense. He's well-rounded enough to survive. We've seen him go 5 rounds against a guy like Israel Adesanya. And I think if he can do that, the one thing that did worry me is not so much the Khamzat loss that he just came off of, because Khamzat is a grappling freak of nature, It's more so the DDP knockout loss. Because really, when he got cracked, it was a close jab that really just put him out. It wasn't anything powerful, like clipping him in the chin or anything. Like, it was just straightforward jab, straight clean in the face, which kind of worries me a little bit because Whittaker has been in so many damn wars that it's like it's hard to know how his durability is going to hold up. And if you have any slip up against RDR, he will submit you. We know he's damn good on the ground. He's very good in the clinch, as we saw against Bo Nickal with that length and height advantage. So it's tough. I want to lean Whittaker, but I have my reserves. I'm a little bit doubtful of Whittaker, just all the damage he's taken. But at the same time, I think he is the more well-rounded mixed martial artist in terms of the whole package. And I think especially with his good takedown defense, if RDR can't take it to the ground, Whittaker should be able to have his way here. But, it's torn. This is what I'm going to go back on a little bit more too. I'm going to do some more tape study later on, and I'm going to do a little bit more research, try to see what I can find, if there's any hidden little rocks you can flip over and try to find anything on this. But my initial lean is Whittaker. This might change later on. Not too sure yet, but I'll go with Whittaker for this one. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this little quick pick breakdown. I'm going to have my full card breakdown later this week. We're going to have more videos on the way, so make sure to like and subscribe for more. Comment any videos you guys like. Comment any styles you guys like. Thank you guys so much for all the love on recent videos and comments and suggestions and all that. You know, I'm trying to get better and trying to make my videos as good as I can, so any and all feedback is super appreciated. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.